to everyone. How are you? This is a weird town. You got this kind of people who come out on a Saturday to hear poetry? Come on, people. Don't you know you live in Gloucester? It's a beautiful place. Get out there in it, you know? Thank you, Bob, and for everything that you've done to keep the Gloucester Writers Center going, and to everyone that, those of us who are members of what I would call the faithful, those who believe that actually words can connect us in ways that we find both profound and enlightening and humanizing. My thought is always that words themselves don't mean anything. They're expectorations, they're grunts, they're sounds that we somehow shape through pitch and tone. But when we take our greatest words and we begin to give them and fold them in human action, right, then they begin to take on meaning through us. And gatherings like this, in my opinion, when we actually do show up to hear one another, be with one another in humanhood and humanship, and all of this is an act of resistance to the darkness which is threatening to engulf us. And so I want to thank each of you who have been the sort of sparks and pieces, parts of light that help keep us shining. Thank you so much for this. Think back to maybe that first one of our ancestors who started this trek toward knowledge, this woman who walked across the savannah, went up to the mountain, looked up, saw these stars in the sky, and instantly recognized that there was something that connected her to that. And she brought that sense of wonder back to her tribe, to her people, and they began to spread that and found those ways of seeking knowledge of what it means to be human, which led us to places like universities and schools, libraries, art galleries, and things that ask us to be human. So I want you to honor that first ancestor of ours by giving, when I do like this, give me one Anglo-Saxon interrogative monosyllabic gruntable. You said it in your head, the word is what? And that is a very important word, as I said, that started this trek that we're on. What and its siblings, right, began all this. So let's just try that. We'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. What? Yes, y'all. What? It's like that, it's like that, it's like that, y'all. What? It's like that, y'all. What? It's like that, y'all. What? It's kind of like that. So, once again, here we are again, needing to feel what it means to be human. To feel the diastolic and systolic getting rolled into whatever comes out of the human soul. We know the body has intelligence. The intellect cannot dismiss the consequence of biocultural experience. But let's take a quick trip and get a sense of what it means for all of us who have become human beings. Back in the time that we cannot recall, our ancestors drummed in the hum of night. Under these same stars, they believed were gods that shone down as they danced by the fire's light. Their bodies started moving, voices started grunting, imitating animals. They knew they would be hunted on the next day to provide sustenance for their tribe. This was a ritual intended to recognize that life is born of death. Like sunrise and sunset, cycling from east to west, the drums would beat, feet began to step, moving from right to left, the men leapt, as the chants began to rise from the women's breath. This is why what we do at places like this called the blood. It's been this way since we crawled from the mud, an ancient thing banging in the body and the mind that we've been grooved into people since the dawn of time. So, let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mountain, a man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the boom, boom, bap. Let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mountain, a woman started humming to an animal's call, and that was the beginning of the yes, y'all. A yes, yes, y'all. What? Yes, yes, y'all. What? It's like that, it's like that, it's like that, y'all. What? It's like that, y'all. What? It's like that, y'all. What? It's whether Irish or English or Spanish, Danish or Swedish or Polish, Russian or Turkish, Italian, German or Kurdish, Japanese or Assyrian, Japanese or Armenian, Portuguese or Hungarian, Hebrew, Zulu, Bavarian, no matter the tongue you speak, languages have a beat, the body and instinctively translates into music. See, what science has found is we are creatures of sound, and our ears need to seek rhythmic patterns in human speech, like the words I'm spitting, hear the rhythm that's in them, even before you get the hint of any content I'm kicking. You first think nothing of it but the verbal percussion, drums inside of you, and then your blood begins rushing, your pulses get to throbbing, your head might get to bobbing, you're feeling the effect of what the rhythm has been plotting. It's gotten you to synchronize your alpha waves and realize that rhythm's more than musical, but structurally underlies each and every atom to plasma scattered on Saturn. Every stage of matter is organized in some kind of rhythmic pattern, which is architectonic. Everything has a tonic, everything has a cycle, everything has a phonic. Life depends upon it. We're engineered to want it. This thing that remains, refrains, comes back as chronic. This thing that haunts us all like a ghost in the mind. We've been dancing with y'all, dancing with y'all, dancing with y'all since the dawn of time. So, wow. Let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the boom boom tap. Yo, let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a woman started coming to an animal's call, and that was the beginning of the yes y'all. Yes, yes y'all. Yes, yes y'all. Like that, that diggity, that y'all. Like 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 that It's like that. Now, how did y'all know when to get quiet? I call this a Precambrian love supreme. It is as though there is no sky yet. As if this place is its own light. A light leading the now human toward the distant ink blue mouth where it has waited billions of years for the hapless accident of you to walk where your microbial ancestors once floated and swam. Waited for your now human voice to vowel open, bring back a bit of that turbid royal that carved it to echo along its escarpment and rise. Now, recall how the ancient floods would elide. Let this vision erode your primate mind like stone beneath the slow of Precambrian brine. Recall how this canyon was carved from water brought to earth by eons of trans-Neptunian comet and collide. Recall how this static metamorphic dance became marble moan and continental grind and groan. Now, shift to that Eucharist of stone, the unfettered angle and uplift, the swirl and rift of color pearl patterned by the unrelent of turgid room, caught now in a geologic orbit of limestone and sand commanding a mosaic of archaic hues. Perhaps that is where the first stromatolite appeared, after water shallowed and blue-greened, where cyanobacteria bedded down when thrumming shadows lifted into sallow chiaroscuro. This place is its own photo, unchanging, ever-moving, static as dance. It summons the still not quite human in us to remember and reconcile with our bacterial beginnings, to remember how once we swam here, single-celled and seeking, driven onward by an instinct older than rock. That March day in Massachusetts, when the second-rate poet from Chicago was shopping for clothing, he never thought he'd buy that black shirt. The one embroidered with that crazy Eastern motif, the one he knew was not his style, the one he figured he'd only wear once, the one he did in fact only wear once, yes. The thing worn once in the closet next to the other thing only worn once now hanging in the closet. His main thought was, I wonder how this will look on stage. It was vain that way. Likewise, when she of Belmont, Massachusetts, wore that cleavage-clinging pink halter top, an ultra-tight pair of black pants. You know, the outfit that screams, damn it, I'm a feminist with a master's degree in education, and I demand that men respect me for my mind. Yeah, that one. She was only dressing for a comfortable night out with a girlfriend who ended up flaking on her at the last minute, leaving her to go out alone. She'd never been anywhere alone. She'd never been to a poetry reading before. She almost didn't go this time. But then she did. She surprises that way. Now, they did not expect to meet, much less fall into that razor blade thin walk, that line that somehow is built between two people on the verge of finding one another interesting. He was a man who had a rather profound liking for the ladies. All of them. But he was also profoundly shy, especially that night. She, being from Belmont, Massachusetts, and thus a member of the Frozen Chosen, was not used to starting conversations with men with which she was unfamiliar, most especially second-rate poets from Chicago. But she was a little more forward than usual, especially that night. And though this is apocryphal, as stories tend not to corroborate, it is generally agreed that eventually they ended up at IHOP. And over a cup of coffee and a shared rooty tooty fresh and fruity, he thought, maybe. And she thought, maybe. As for you, you were not yet you. That is to say, you were you, potentially. But you were not yet this ever-parasitic tsunami of new discovery fueled by laughter and lactation, leaving broken drinking glasses and ruined CDs in your wake. But you were somewhere, not quite there, a small curved question mark, faint and forming at the end of some egg named future. Then they loved, and it was good. So they loved again. And during the August of one of those agains, the part of you that had been singing softly and sweetly and alone inside of her began to sense the part of you singing softly and sweetly and alone inside of her, which began to sense the part of you singing softly and sweetly and alone. Those soft, sweet, alone songs began to sing to each other and reach toward each other. And when they found each other, they began to grow and to swell and to sing into one song. You. And after the growing and the swelling and the singing were done, you were lifted from inside the soft dark of her, lifted into light, into scream, into breath. After that, he took you into an empty room where no one could see the two of you, held you above his head, looked upwards at the ceiling, imagined that those fluorescent lights to be some ocean of greater light stretched above a land that smelled like salt water and village song. And this must have happened in the lands from which your ancestors came. He brought you close and trembling to his chest, told you what your name would be, thanked his now dead father for your safe passage, and asked for strength and guidance from whatever poets had authored all this. People in the comments, I don't want to deprive anyone else of more time. I just don't want to cheat anybody out there as well. So they don't know. You do not tell a poet, keep going. It's like telling a preacher. Right now, everything is happening. Melodrama. In Super Cinerama, right now, somewhere, some child has just fallen from some tree. Some gambling husband has misplaced a key to the house, dreads the anger of his much-dreaded spouse. It's 4 a.m. somewhere, right now. Somewhere right now, in some clothesline tenement yard, some drug abuser is in need of a fix. While ladies of the evening bemoan the scarcity of tricks, hey, times are hard for somebody somewhere, right now. Because love, somebody's got the blues. Lives in a world of deeper, darker hues than grottos tunneled into the bottoms of Italian aisles, and baby trials are going on now. At this very second, on any humming highway, any deadly drumming dieway, two speeding cars collide head on. while some cunning student of chess decides it's best to forfeit a pawn for an act. Somewhere else, a fight. In an angry hand, a gun muzzle flashes, enemies guard against each other's border clashings, and blood is going to flow somewhere. Right now. Somewhere right now, on some stage, some musicians are cooking, while ghetto gigolos keep brushing off their clothes, hoping to get better looking for the vixens, fixing to get into something or the other. Somewhere right now, I'm afraid, chastity is not being defended all that bravely. Somewhere else, some kindred soul is bent over some rusted shovel, digging gravely now. Right now, somewhere, maybe even in this library, somebody is high. Maybe a couple of somebody's high. Somebody else has been eating Aunt Jemima's sweet potato pie, dig in a pool hall now. Some loser is racking at some library in Gloucester. Some poet keeps yakking now. Right now. Somewhere, some prim, elderly grandmother overhears some dirty, dirty joke and smiles. And somewhere, right now, in these loneliest of times, some teenager who only used to listen to hip-hop has just put on a set of headphones and is crawling into the first notes of a trumpeter named Miles. Every time. All kinds of things are going on at this millisecond or at some ancient dawn. What? How? Oh, dear dreamers, don't you know? There is no other time than now. We were writing poems about cliches and cliche poems and all of that stuff. And so we went to those parts of us which are always spoken about in poetry, and we decided to write to them epistolary. So this is a short one, and it's called Letter to My Heart. Dear heart, even though you are so stupidly dull, even though you are the only muscle with a voice, even though you keep saying the same crap over and over and over and over, even though you're like my father who's only worked one job his entire life and thinks he's got the right to tell me how to live, even though, just like him, your track record in the advice-giving department ain't been so great, I love you as war loves weeping, and loathe you as glass does shatter. I love and loathe how easily you falter at the never-ending arithmetic of bullets and children. For the haunting hurt you have for Trojan women sold into an ancient slavery. For the disbelief of the unreturned compassion Saladin gave his Christian captives. For Jews forced into conversion and name change. For Palestinian bellies empty of bread. Why do you sigh for the unmoved dust gathering on unopened books of poems? For every word not said by people who are always, always sad. People like pianos with missing teeth. Why are you so broken open by mothers who've been broken closed? Don't you know, lonely one, no one wants to hear you at night, sobbing like some soldier who cannot cry himself clean. Dearest, too easily wounded heart, if you continue to crack for every injustice you are powerless to stop, for every mythic hero you cannot and could never be, for every history of everything you cannot fix, comfort, or soothe, what will become of you? You, my stupid, beautiful you. And the last piece I'll read is one that I really don't get to read very often. Hopefully I can find it for you. And it is a piece that I read when for the inauguration to be Poet Laureate of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I always want to stress that word Commonwealth.
Yep.
Right? and what that means. There's only 4 or 5 commonwealths, and we need to really dig into what that word means. It calls us to not just be citizens of a state, but to be in citizenship with each other, right? I owe you something as a citizen. And one of the things I owe you is to do my best to not screw you over. To not screw you over because I get a couple of $1,000 more in my 401k. To not screw you over because I don't like who you love. To not screw you over because you can be screwed over. And I think it's important that we recognize that. This is in praise of my adopted Republic of Massachusetts. Massachusetts, a song of itself. There is a song in this land, a song of this land, a melody threaded like marrow through its prehistoric bones, a song born beneath Pleistocene ice sheet, etched into glacial lake, scored into every stone. Can you hear it? Feel it trill from deposited till and kettle pond, upwell from each elm, each birch, from oak and pine, from black and blue spruce, sugar maple, sycamore, and sassafras. It rises from white oak and ash, from every lady fern and foam flower thriving in forest shade, from each blade of rye, stilt, mully, and bleached beach grass. Oh, don't you hear it? Cantillating from coastline, smelling of Atlantic brine, brimming from its many living waters. The Merrill-Squamish, the Mississippi, the Chicopee, the Neponset, the Monotiquan, the Quinnipiac, the Wewianti, Agawam, and Assabet. It belts and bellows, resounds, billows and echoes from Skiff Hill to Mount Everett, from Greylock to Great Blue. It sings to you. It sang to and through the first peoples too. The Wampanoag, the Nipmuc, the Nankiang, Pinnacook, the Mahican, the Nauset, the Pocumtuck, Abenaki, the Massachusetts. A song older than human language, ancient as firefly light and hummingbird heartbeat. It knits every piece of the land into each native man, woman, and two-spirit willing to hear it and be claimed by the beauties it brings. How many have heard it? So many we have neither tongue nor time to sing. But we do sing. Each of us part of that song, our individual and collective longings, our struggles and frustrations and triumphs, all part of its history, both the readily remembered and the wish to be forgotten. We are the Puritan thou shalt not and the round the world heard shot, a paradox of patriotic pilgrim's pride and genocidal guilt, as elevated as Concordian transcendentalism and as elemental as Salem's sand and silt. Ours is both the enslaved back lashed with whip and the haversack hanging against the hip of freedom-fighting Minutemen. We are Massachusetts, sometimes easily singing full-throatedly of liberty, and sometimes wheezing it hoarsely as if dying of thirst, sometimes off-pitch, sometimes in pitch-perfect voice, hummed and thrummed rhythmically to the drummed snare of history. We are all that song, sometimes witty-ditty, sometimes gritty chant, sometimes pretty ballad or melismatic rant, singing the truth but singing it slant. But always we are that song that plays in the ears, stays in the ears of this nation like strident fife, resounding, sounding above the daily din, democracy's highest ideals for which each generation must fight to realize and make real. We are all that song of Massachusetts. Hear us singing from Norfolk to Suffolk, Dukes to Essex, Barnstable to Bristol, Worcester to Middlesex, Berkshire to Plymouth, Nantucket to Franklin, and from every town and townie from Hampshire to Hamden. Any path this nation takes is because we helped choose it. Any tyranny that triumphs in this nation is because we helped excuse it. Any freedoms this nation loses is because we helped lose it. And we must know by now that that is not in our nature to suffer such things, but instead to put them up, buckle up, muster up instead, then toss back our heads, fill our lungs with air, and sing, sing, Massachusetts. Sing.
Thank you.
Walt Whitman said, in order to have great poets, you need great audiences, and you're a great audience.
We're both about a cove called Brace's Cove. Brace's Cove is a cove between Eastern Point and the back shore, which you can find if you turn east along the roads going up to the back shore. A lot of people have found it, but a lot of people have never seen it. It is a beautiful cove. It's a numerous place. It's a place full of spirits. It's a sacred place. I'm not the only one who finds it sacred. I believe the Indians did, the Native Americans here. And I believe also that F.H. James, the great Gloucester artist, F.H. Lane, the great artist, found it. And it was the inspiration for his last 4 paintings, which are, one of them's here in the museum here, and the others are all online on the museum's website. You should take a look at the 4 or 5 paintings that Fitz H. Lane did of the Gloucester scenery. I discovered Brace's Cove with my wife when we moved here in the 1960s. And we used to walk there every day because our house is within walking distance of the cove. So it was a great thing. Spartina days at Brace's Cove. Spartina's the grass that you see along the beaches here. It thrives in colonies, and it's very beautiful, and I love it. Spartina days at Brace's Cove. Spartina days at Brace's Cove. We sped there and broke out into the sea, the delicious cool of it, the blue-green deep. When evening came, we trailed back tired, talking and not talking. The night, it looked like there was no night. The sky held its blue, lit up for miles and miles. We did not sleep. Instead, we sat and watched, like children at a window, with all of summer left to play. We had discovered the Spartina grasses that take in both fresh and salt water, leaving crystals of salt on dark green leaves, airy cages for the sun's light, blowing fresh in the wind. And we saw the shoreline, the rack of rockweed, the curving silhouettes of the other grasses, like the lines on the hands of the old, pointing to the water. The rocks understand the secret languages of cloudbirds, wind letters, sea vowels. We recalled the lean years, the times of death and rot, and sorrows. Death's own bleach grew like a pale shadow on Spartina. The long fight to survive still shows the scars of the time of plague. Remember the tide pools at the center, each with a massive granite boulder set among glowing grass. We take in the calm at the bottom of these pools, the dandled shadows along the banks where our eyes wander, looking for starfish. We are amazed that this land displays such tenderness. A complex colony starts, zones of racked sea lettuce, rib mussels, barnacles, snails, fiddler crabs. We don't forget the shorebirds, the plovers, sandpipers, and wading cranes, the herons and egrets, all in attendance. Hopkins at Binns saw them hacking down trees and thought of the entire planet as an eye easily pricked to blindness. A freshwater sunfish from Niles Pond swims here, somehow trapped in the salt pool, waiting, patient as a starfish for the rain to come and release him. The pool thinks what the sky thinks. The tide pools seem to be like the eyes of the marsh, marked by brows of granite rock, all open to scud. So the tide pools seem to me like the eyes of the marsh, marked by brows of granite rock, all open to sky. Those who come to this place after may not know the beauty that still stands, the pure happiness of seeing wild birds in flight and fishes flashing, the moment of feeling as though the whole great bulk of Grace's Rock lifts, the whole cove is lifted, and a whole whale hanging off Halibut Point sings. A light bulb lies at the core of each creature. You live by the lighted casts. Ask where it will shine for you when the annals of the Squartina close. Grace's Cove. I should say, my wife and I used to walk to the cove every morning. She died after nearly 50 years of marriage. On our early morning walk, we discover a small city left on the beach by unknown builders. Thigh-high towers of pink and gray granite, warmed by chunks of sea-smooth brick that once made houses. You asked me to wipe the sunblock from your face. I do, careful with the eyes and mouth. Best of all are the standing stones, druid figures piled up from rocks and set out so the tide will wash their feet before it knocks them down. Erect amid the flowing green Squartina grasses, they tilt their oval shoulders as if it were bad luck to say, so close to paradise. Thank you very much.
So I have two poems to read, and because yesterday was Halloween, you'll see a theme weaving their way, but I'll just get started. I had a friend ask them, well, she's poet laureate, like what kind of poetry does she write? And my answer is accessible. So I hope that when I see your smiling faces and when I do read, I want people to feel connection, but nature, one of my muses, and as Bob said, I do believe that all good revolutions need poets, and so I've been privileged to speak at some rallies and flag raisings of the Pride flag here, and I really, really, really believe that words make a difference, as Regie said, and sometimes a well-placed poem can replace 4 long speeches. So, thank you. So this is called Is It Any Wonder, Woman? And I bought a pair of red and white fake leather boots at a thrift store, and I've dressed up as Wonder Woman for protests and also bike races and Halloween, and I think there's probably some Wonder Women in this audience as well. Is it any wonder, woman, why your boots are scuffed and peeling, cherry leather, white stripes, just can't hold up these days under the thumb of rampant misogyny, rampaging riots, and damaged democracy? Is it any wonder, woman, you hung up your golden lasso of truth, for there are no consequences for the con man who revels in rehashing reality, hiring and firing the apprentice, or denying election results, inciting revolution based on the big lie where truth dies? Is it any wonder, woman, you are as invisible as the jet you fly? You are here, but unseen. Your bracelets and crown shine in the night, but not bright enough. Is it any wonder, woman, you want to give up and get out of these disunited states, return to Paradise Island, mythical Themyscira, amongst Amazonian sisters who center love and beauty and wisdom and equality, all that could be here. It could be here. Could it be here? Is it any wonder, woman, you fight to be alive in every girl and her mother, every daughter and her sister, a spark for justice, and just being a woman today is under the gun, the thumb, the rules and regulations of someone who came from a woman and who will still blame a woman or shame a woman for her messy situations, enforce the gestation, deny the termination, continue perpetration. Is it any wonder, woman, we embody you on October nights at costume parades and bars, all ages, all stages, all stars, in a perpetual constellation, fighting for justice and liberty, not a statue, not immortal, but a portal to the hero in her own story. Her story is our story. I wonder how it ends. Thank you. Our final reader is the organizer of this great event, Bob Whelan, friend of mine, fellow poet laureate of Rockport, Massachusetts, and I want to just get him right up here so we can have a little bit of time for some Q&A after his reading. Thank you.
So I'm going to read two. One is anchored in the past, and one has one foot in the future. On Cape Ann, we have a lot of Greek revival architecture, and so this is about that. It's called Greek revival. Old houses have a certain comfort, like a warm bed on a morning without alarm. Their sense of endurance. Holding the lines of my childhood, their familiar proportions say things last. They were before you and will remain after. Walls of cracked plaster offer a sense of patience. How many voices have been heard? What joys and aches witnessed in their containment? Toys and running children, old men inching up the stairs, young women smiling coyly, futures dreamt, past forgotten, wooden floors worn by worried pacing. Outside my window, with rippling glass panes melting slowly from gravity at a pace of a glacier, I gaze into the streets where once was a rolling field with grazing deer who had never seen a man. And the future kind of goes like this. NASA has a project where they're sending art to the moon in hopes it'll be there waiting for them whenever they build the space station. They asked or had a call for worldwide for artists to contribute, and sometimes mistakes are made, and I was chosen to have this poem go. No one's there yet, so all I can say is I'm responsible for some cosmic litter at the moment. Can a bridge be built? Can a bridge be built joining heart with mind, so compassion is seen as logical, where passion won't render reason blind, and thoughts inspire the emotional? Can a bridge be built between body and soul, where molecules sway to transcendent music as they dance to make existence whole, and muscles enlighten the body electric? Can a bridge be built that brings hate to love, where opposites learn to tolerate, as acceptance expands through the sky above and dark impulses mitigate? Can a bridge be built to bring life to stone, its spark the zenith of creation, animating skin and bone to endure beyond annihilation? Can a bridge be built to span the flow of time, conceding its course and all its power, flowing from sources so sublime, where eternities drift in every hour? Can a bridge be built across the gorge of death, to pass that height but know no fear, without clinging to the final breath, and say goodbye to all that's dear? Thank you.